Hi, this is Roger. Welcome to my channel, and thanks for dropping by for another random selection of cutting room floor clips. Hope you enjoy them. Actually got a reasonable show with the Restrictives. Because they're on a lower shelf, they don't get as much attention as perhaps some of the other orchids do. They just quietly do their thing. That big one up the back there behind the bulb of phyllum, that's sulking at the moment, but that was the one we repotted not long ago and took off loads of kikis and put them round the edge of the plant, so to make it more of a bush. Now obviously that disturbed the roots quite badly, and with a really fine root system like Restrictives have got, it can take a while to recover, so it's having a little sulk. It is pushing up some new growths, and a couple of them have failed. Now those might be new growths on a kiki that just didn't have enough roots, and the whole kiki may fail. We'll wait and see. But these at the front, these are the ones that are doing okay. This is a slow bloomer. It only has one or two at a time. This one's having a little flush at the moment. It's got two out here. Now I'm going to sink into the fog. Another one here. There's one up the back there. Another one coming here. So this is having a nice little flush at the moment, and some nice new growths coming on. And this one blooms on and off again, but I mean it's got one out here, another one about to open here, and one probably about a week away. So that'll have three out probably at the same time. So they're doing okay. You know, they're growing quite well. I'm pleased with these. They do okay with the humidity I've got. Down on this lower shelf where they don't get bright light, they do get some bright light. As this sun moves along, it comes in through the side, and this shelf will get lit up, but it only stays lit up for a couple of hours. And then it goes back to this level of light, which is even. It's not deep shade, it's even medium light, which is just what they like, with high humidity. And they get that high humidity because they're right under that fogger. That fogger kicks the fog out here, and it all drops down through that shelf. So this is a high humidity shelf and not a bright light shelf. So it's working well. Masdevallias and Restrictives sitting on there. Why am I filming this silly little flipping thing? I bought this at Ratcliffe's, which was a Paphiopedilum specialist nursery, hybridizer, you know, did some wonderful work, but they went down, as many orchid nurseries do. So I thought I'd have one of their plants that was one of their own crosses. If you can read that fine, I'm not turning it upside down to get it right. But it was effectively conjoined growths. So there were two growths there. You can see the stump where the other one just died. And this one's just been sat there doing nothing since that place closed down, which is probably a year ago, if not more, and it's done nothing. Finally, it's pushing a new leaf out. Talk about Mr. Flipping Slow. I mean, I've had that, I reckon that's at least a year and a half, and it's done nothing. No new root activity in the pot. It has got a couple of roots, not many. And no new leaves, and half of it died. You sort of think, what the hell is the point? But it lurks up the back of a shelf, gets watered when I do the others, and so it wasn't in the way or doing any harm. But it is finally growing a new leaf. You lazy tyke. What are you? Now, these two are also quite important to me as well. These are Red Tag's daughter's plants. This is Paphiopedilum Thomson. And she just loved the leaves on this when we were at Burnham's, and she said, you know, I wonder if I could grow that. And I said, well, it's a warm growing one, says on the label, which, you know, because she lives in a flat, so she's got the problems of relatively constant temperatures. You know, she doesn't get cool nights because her and her cats live there. But there's a new leaf coming on it. That's its first sign of life since I got it, when it had no roots and effectively, as far as I was concerned, was lost. But I potted it up. It had half a good root. In other words, the bottom half of the root had died, but the top half was still firm. So I potted it. And if it's growing a new leaf, it's doing something. And again, this is Delinati, I think. Delanatii vinicolor. But again, it was the leaves that she liked so much, and the fact that both of these are miniatures, so they don't take up a lot of space. But again, presume that's a new leaf. Do you know, that could be a bud. Let's have a sideways look. It might be a bud. It's more than likely a leaf. It's not really strong enough to push up a bloom. And again, I'd love to see a bit more root activity in the pot. That had next to no living roots when we potted it, but not dead yet. And she'll be pleased that both of those are not dead yet. She's got no highlight positions that have any humidity at all. So, you know, Phalaenopsis can come out when they're in bloom. They can go on the dining room table. They're probably getting a bit too much light, but the lower humidity in that area doesn't matter. They still grow okay. But, you know, things like Paphiopedilums and Restrictives, if they haven't got the humidity, they're just not going to do well. So we'll have to see what we do with these. She may want to take them back with her, because they're attractive plants in their own right, whether they bloom or not. But we got something going on in the crown of that one, and we've got something going on in the crown of that one. So I've got some good news to report. This was another request that I missed off because, well, because I did. Probably because I forgot. But I've had several people along the way, not necessarily recently, that have actually said, why don't you show more of your Phalaenopsis? And most of the time it's because there's nothing going on. You know, but what I wanted to say about this one is that these blooms have been out nearly 3 months now, and okay, it's a hybrid, lovely little flush of pink, there, come on mouth, beautiful coloration and spotting in the lip, and a trait. Yeah, if you look at those lower sepals, half of them are spotted and half of them aren't. Hands up, class, all those who know what species has that trait. It's also white. So that's got some in it, I virtually guarantee. But why I got this plant out was, first of all, just to try and get that pestering about Phalaenopsis out of the way, cat hair everywhere. This plant grew a massive leaf, and some slug, a slug, got at it. It suffered the ultimate price, but it got at it when the leaf was quite young. So the marks that it left, the bite that it took out, probably while the leaf was still folded, yeah, when it was closed up. They're there for good now. I've got to live with those, and that takes the edge off of this plant if ever it was suitable to go into a show. Because that leaf is a dominant leaf, it's the biggest one, and at the moment it's near the top. And the way that Phalaenopsis grow their new leaves, couple a year, 3, 4 if you're doing well, but sometimes only 1, and then gradually those leaves come out over the top in this typical linear fashion like they do, and eventually the leaves become older leaves like that one is. You know, that one's starting to fade now. That one will eventually yellow and fall off, as will this one, replaced by the new ones at the top. But gradually over the years it should retain more leaves as it begins to climb and hangs over the edge of the pot like they do. But it's got another spike. Now for me that's pretty good. And the blooms on that have lasted ages. Now it's got another one coming. And I'll be interested to see how many blooms that this spike pushes up. Because a lot of you said you're not giving your Phalaenopsis enough light. If you want good spikes with multiple blooms, healthy plant, good root system. Yeah, good root system. Green at the moment because it's just been drowned, but that's a good root system. And you'll get the spikes, but they need more light in the winter, so I gave them more light. Now this looks like that spike might oh, you won't be able to see, that's too close. That spike looks like it might extend. That looks like a bud on the end, so we may get some replacements for these blooms. And we've got a new spike coming. Yeah, so I don't never show my Phalaenopsis. I just do it once in a blue moon. But look at the damage that was done to that leaf. Slug trails. Ugh. Still, you know, if any part of your collection is anywhere near the outside world and there's a way in, they'll flip and find it. It's as though they've got a nose for the delicate parts. Little tykes. Anyway, 2 spikes. Yay! Now that was unexpected. Because this one lurks down right on the floor, literally down there. It can't go on the grid because it's too tall, and even now the leaves touch that shelf just above. But this needs to stay cool, and there's an electric little computer fan under there that keeps that area nicely moving. So it's a good place for it. It only gets relatively bright light first thing, and then it's shaded the rest of the day. So it's in where it wants to be, but that is unexpected. I expected the pseudobulbs to need to be more mature than that. So if that one's capable of spiking, so's this one. Soon. Maybe. I can't see any yet. But yeah, it puts out a lot of hope for some of these quite large new growths. They are just pushing out their new roots to go with those new growths, so it's going to recover its root system because it wasn't too clever. So in theory, this one should spike in the not too distant future, and this one up the middle of the plant here. But we have a spike. So I'm pleased. I wasn't expecting this one to bloom that quickly. This is an Tonto Glosson species, my only one. And yeah, and I'm pleased with the plant. The plant's growing well. That's the good bit, because it didn't have very good roots when I repotted it. But it's pushing on nicely now, and we're going to get some blooms. Now that spike's got a lot of growing to do, because the spike, well, the spikes on it when I got it, spikes, can't remember if there's 1 or 2, but they're about 12-14 inches long, so it's got a fair bit of growing to do before we get anywhere near any blooms. But that's worth a pop-up for the blooms on that, because they are very nice, quite unusual, very delicately wavy things, but you'll see. But yeah, pleased, a spike, so a newbie, update the records, yay! And both of these Aradia Outers are doing okay. This is a big plant that we split up a while ago and potted up. Both of the spikes are pushing on. They're starting to show their buds now. Where's the other one? There he is down there. But what I'm more pleased with is that both of the leads have a new growth. Yeah, that's good. And those will produce roots. But the previous bulb on both of them have both got eyes that look like they're starting to move. That one not so much, but then that one didn't have quite such a good root system, whereas this one had a pretty good root system. And again, a new growth on the main lead, but there's an eye there and an even better one there. So if both of those eyes on both of those previous bulbs grow, that's going to make the plant a lot bushier, and effectively it will have 3 leads on each plant, and each lead so far since I've had this plant has always bloomed, as is the 2 main leads at the moment. So if I can get 3 leads on each plant, effectively we may have 3 spikes on each plant next time, because the fragrance on this is stunning. And obviously this time round I'm only going to get 1 spike on each plant, but at least I've got 2 plants, you know, so that's going to be good. It's a way off yet. I mean, the buds are only just starting to take shape on the spike, so there's a way to go yet, but yeah, they're coming on. They didn't object too much to their splitting and repotting. The new leads are growing on nicely, so yeah, coming soon. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to click the like button. If you didn't, you know what to do. And if you want to see more videos like this and my other videos, including culture, care, repotting, mounting, and mainly orchid related topics, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. That way you won't miss out on anything. And thanks for dropping by. See you next time.